Fresh off of OTAs yesterday, we got to hear from all the quarterbacks. We got to hear from all those guys down there in Santa Clara as OTAs have gotten underway for the San Francisco 49ers. So we're back on track and on schedule for getting back into our film series. We are going to, again, we've been hopping around doing Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold film breakdowns. And today, we are going to break down Trey Lance versus the Texans. And we're going to talk about how he looks then. We obviously got some additional throws and how he looked from OTAs. And we are going to bring it all together and see if Trey can be successful with the San Francisco 49ers. Shout out to the SDS and shout out to the gang. Dropping SDS in the chat. You know what the vibe is. Let's cook. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Oh, don't want that up there just yet. It's time. I'm not going to be distracted by the ums today. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you missed a legendary stream yesterday. We have a new channel, Inside Joke, aka shout out the gang. We out here cooking, and again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in to the film. you guys are already in mid-season form with all your your puns. Shout out the whole SDS, shout out the whole gang, shout out the squad. We out here cooking. I almost did it again. I just almost said I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to let one of those slip. I'm gonna be on top of my game today. We aren't going to let the ums fly. You guys got me all twisted up in a blender yesterday, and it turned into an unpredictable show yesterday. But today's going to be a little bit more predictable because we're doing film. And again, the whole thesis here is we're going to let the film talk to us. Obviously, lots of conversations about the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. It does seem clear that the quarterback one still is going to reside with Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy is going to start throwing in about a week. But just like Kyle Shanahan said, only God knows if Brock Purdy will be ready to go for training camp. So I guess we just have to keep praying that Brock Purdy will be ready to go. But when Brock Purdy is back, it definitely does sound like Brock will kind of slide back into that quarterback one role. But again, we're trying to make sense of all the quarterbacks. So we're going to let you're not getting me today. You are not. You are not. Not today. Gosh. My goodness. All right, let's get into some tape, man. You already know what to do. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Let's watch. So again, premise here is we're just gonna watch. We're gonna watch the tape, let it roll. And we're gonna talk about football, man. Again, I've just been fiending for football. I'm tired of talking about narratives, things like that. I just want to talk about football. I want to watch football. I want to talk about football. That's it. That's it. So, recap again. This is from 2021. This was what was this? This was week 17, January 2nd. This was technically 2022, but it was January 2nd, week 17. And if you remember, this was right off the game where Jimmy Garoppolo tore the tendon or whatever he did to his thumb against the Titans. So he was out this game. And this was Trey Lance's second career start in the NFL. And if you guys remember, it wasn't that great, right? It in the first half. In the first half, you could tell it felt like whether it was the scheme itself, because again, when we've seen Trey Lance, we've had some scheme questions and things like that. But Trey himself, I think who was it? It was Kittle who was mic'd up, and Trey was talking to him, just talking about how like the nerves were getting to him. This was a big game. This was the 49ers were in playoff mode. Even and I know the Texans were trash this year. I think they had 3 wins, but they were just the week before had beat the Chargers, who were a playoff team, and they beat them pretty convincingly. So they were riding high, even though they weren't a good team record wise. The Texans had just beat a good Chargers team the week before. So let's take a look. What do we got here? So is that Trent Sherfield in the backfield? Yeah, good old Trent Sherfield in the backfield. Motion him out, go to empty set. You got trips left, bunch formation. Ooh. Right here, I think if Trey felt more comfortable, the pocket is clean enough that he could have stepped up a little bit. He could have been a little bit more patient. It looks like Compton gets beat pretty quickly. So maybe that's what he's feeling and he reacts to. So he flushes out. But I feel like if he hits this point, Ayuk looks open. So maybe you can get it in there. But also, hey, Trey Lance, he has the ability to run. He picks up positive yards with his legs. I don't mind it. Don't mind it. Could see a world that exists where you hit that to Ayuk. So not a big deal there. And again, this is Trey Lance's second career start. So what we're just trying to do is we're just trying to let the tape speak. And this was a while ago. So we would have to believe that Trey has been able to improve, from this point. So empty set again. I'm not sure what Tom Compton's doing here. Tom Compton gets himself completely out of position, which allows the defender to just basically get a free rush at Trey. So Trey has to make things shake. He's able to check it down to what looks like Elijah Mitchell. You do have Brandon Ayuk coming across. Ideally, the eyes are up, but again, he makes one guy miss, then he's got another guy right there in front of him. So he just gets the ball out. I'm fine with that. But I would definitely like to see him see this hole, and that would be the ideal placement because this one you don't have to be ultra accurate. You can just literally toss that thing up in this general vicinity and trusting Ayuk is going to go get it. And then who knows what that looks like. But again, at the end of the day, the whole play is thrown off by Compton. Just I don't know what Compton's doing here. It looks like this looks like a run play. I don't know if it's just aided or it looks worse because the defensive end is slanting inside and he's going run action to the right. So it just is the perfect combination for instant pressure. But again, you still see and you can still see kinda Trey, like, he doesn't look settled right now, like, he's kinda frantic looking, but still is able to get it out and complete it, so not bad. George Kittle handoff, nice. Quarterback sneak, 49ers are very good at quarterback sneaks. Elijah Mitchell. I think this was the game that Elijah Mitchell, uh I just did it. Elijah Mitchell's the first, rookie quarterback, running back to break 1,000 yards. I don't remember the stat exactly, but he broke for 1,000 yards this game. Okay. So, like, this right here, this, this isn't a good throw. This has gotta be a layup for Trey, right? You can see the ball has no velocity. It comes out like a duck. It's behind Kyle. This went from a potential juice making one guy miss and being able to gain 15 to 20 yards and turns into barely anything. Just not great. But again, I think this is just he was nervous, man. He was nervous. The nerves were there. We know the issue with the finger, all those types of things. His nerves were up. And I think those are the things that, like, when we look at Brock Purdy and we look at Trey Lance, we know for a fact that Brock kind of has that ice in his veins, right? He's got that, like, I've been here before because I think he has. And when we talk about Brock Purdy and all the experience that he had in college, I really do think that that helps him find a level of calm where Trey is just like everything's flying a mile a minute, right? It's a second start. There's a ton of pressure and he's just trying to work through that aspect of it. And he gets popped right here. Obviously, Trey, as he continues to like use his legs and get older, I know he has a running style where he's used to lowering his shoulder and taking and delivering that contact. But I think he's learned in the NFL that it's just better to get down and learn to play another day because obviously these defenders aren't FCS defenders or things like that. So I really do think Trey will learn, and you can see, I mean, back-to-back plays, he got rocked. And I just think he and Kyle just need to do a better job of protecting themselves. And with more experience, I think that will come. So again, like we did Brock Purdy's first start. It wasn't even a start. He got thrown into the mix against that game. And if you watch that particular film breakdown, like you can see some of the differences already kind of jumping out in regards to just being comfortable in the system. And that's where I think Trey Lance will start to shine when he gains that confidence. Like this, I like this. Let's see what the initial read that it looks like he's working towards. You got double slants to the left. I mean, his eyes go there instantly. It looks like he has Kittle. If he hits that plant foot, it looks like he has Kittle or Debo. Just I would take Kittle on this one. He's the closest to you, and you got some off coverage. So you bang this on Kittle, like you hit that plant foot and you're letting this thing rip right here. Feels like an easy completion, but kind of bails out, resets, doesn't see it, but then sees Ayuk come open, able to salvage the play. So one of the things with again, when we keep talking about Trey, and we're talking about Trey right now, we know in this game that he's working through the experience things. That's the this is what comes back to why we've wanted Trey to get reps from the very beginning, because these are the things that he's going to work out. These are the things that he's going to process better. He's going to come in more calm minded, be more confident and trusting the read, trusting the progression, and trusting himself in the process. That's where the reps are beneficial. And he just hasn't had a lot of those up until this point. So, but when we see Trey start to settle in a little bit more, I think this was one of my favorite throws of Trey Lance, I think, so far in his career. And again, it just to me showcases what he could be and what he could develop into. That's why it's so hard to be out on Trey right now. Like, this is a difficult throw, man. Play action, naked boot, defender doesn't bite, right in his face. The pump, I remember breaking this down last year or when this happened. You get the pump. So, like, this right here to me is being comfortable in this moment, being comfortable in play action. You go back to North Dakota State, this Trey did this stuff all the time. This is, I think, where he feels comfortable, and you see that come out. You see the play action, naked boot, defenders there. The pump fake is natural, gets 54 in the air, goes behind him, and delivers a good throw to this is where we're like, okay, this is what we want more. We want to see Trey. We know what he could be, right? Like we know what he's capable of from a, you know, empty set, like threat of run, these types of things. But at the end of the day, I think what a lot of fans wanted to see is they wanted to see Trey just operate the scheme, right? Operate the same offense that Brock and Jimmy were able to do. And we assume that would be something that is capable because what we've heard of Trey Lance is that he has had he's really smart and he's really capable of processing the scheme and all that type of those types of things, and you would think that that would also translate into being able to process the defense and process reads and all those things that come along with it. So this type of under center type scheme, like you get the pre-snap formation, Kyle check, pitch, and then we start working play action off of it. This is the offense that I think a lot of people have been wanting to see from Trey just more consistently. But so far, I mean, there's nothing really out of the realm here that this one we're going to get a sack. From my understanding, the quarterbacks typically pick one side of the field. to kind of work off of. So it looks like he's reading the left side first. So I don't know if his initial is Ayuk or George, but he doesn't see the blitz. So I don't think he processes because you're gonna get middle backer and you're also getting nickel. So with Trey right here, he's not seeing the blitz. He doesn't see it pre-snap, so he's not processing it post-snap, and because of that, he's not alert to his hot route. So because he's not processing the blitz, he's not aware that Kyle Juszczyk would be the open guy in this scenario, and you see how Kyle's wide open. So that's again what I think we're watching is Trey has the potential. Trey just hasn't been able to be in these types of situations enough to be able to know where to go with the football. These were the differences with watching Brock's film when he first got thrown in against Miami. He knew where the hot he knew where to put the football when they were bringing blitzes at him, right? Those I think are the differences. So Trey has all the physical tools and the physical traits in the world, and especially if his throwing motion is getting ironed out and figured out, he still has all that potential. But we keep coming back to just the lack of experience, lack of reps, lack of, just being in these situations enough to understand, okay, when I'm here in this situation, this is what I need to do pre and post. But that will come with reps. That will come with being confident within an offense. So I mean, this ball, I don't mind the placement. I think getting it low and away allows Jawan Jennings the best opportunity to catch this. Obviously, you can see it doesn't come out super clean. It's kind of pushing with his elbow and it creates like this whip. And I think those are part of like the mechanics. See how much he drops that ball and then pushes forward with his elbow. Still accurate, still good ball placement. But I think those are some of the things that he's been working on with his throwing motion. And really do feel like, okay, we got interception, we got play action. This ball just it doesn't get it doesn't have enough velocity on it. I don't mind this throw because Kittle, I think right here has got him beat. So you have the sideline as your friend. You don't want to throw towards the safety, right? So you still want to angle this ball towards the sideline. But look at how much room there is, right? Look at how much room by to the left side of that diamond. If you just put this thing out there a little bit more, Kittle has an opportunity to catch that in stride. Like this was this cover two or kind of what is happening here? So 25 is definitely in zone. He passes off Ayuk. He feels Kittle come into his zone. He's probably taking underneath leverage because he knows he's got safety over the top. But because he knows he has safety over the top, that creates that natural hole in the defense by that diamond right around the 30. that if you just kind of put it a little bit more on it, you're good. You're good. You've got safety coming up. He bails to the middle. Who is that wants the ball? Debo wants the ball at the top. Ooh, Debo was open too. So you can see like Trey predetermines where he wants to go with the ball. And I think where we again we're naturally comparing contrasting because we've seen it both ways, right? We've seen Purdy is always going to scan the field. He's always going to like work across. Like so if Purdy wanted to go to the left, what we've seen from Purdy is looking to his right. And then he understands the timing and his progression because you can see how long he has to wait for Kittle. So what Purdy would do is see where starts to look right. He needs to maintain that eye contact to the right side, but in also too in doing that, like let's say he looks at Debo and he stays on Debo, but understanding it's basically like a leak because look at Kittle, it looks like a block and then he leaks out, but because he's locked on Kittle, it 25 is on alert right away. So if I would imagine Lance kept his eyes on 19 originally to pull the safety over, maybe pull 25 over, just like we've seen from Brock, he might actually be like, oh, Debo's open. I'm just gonna rip it to Debo. And we're talking six there. So again, really, really with Trey, these are all correctable things. Like this is correctable, you know. You can see like he even just stops moving because he's just waiting. You can correct all these things. I don't think this is the end all be all of anything. Look, even the rhythm hop, remember, look how high he is. We talked about this. He's got a drop into his throw. We talked about this with his mechanics yesterday, right? Of how he has that kind of rhythm drop. See that? He's high, drop, throw. That's part of the mechanics that he's helped because he's dropping. I really do think he loses power by dropping like that. It's less of a drive off that back foot. So again, nothing changes with like where I think we're at. Again, this is game 2. And but that's the difference right now between Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. And I think why Brock has earned that job as QB1 because you could see him do it at a high level right away, right? He was able to do the small things at a high level right away. And with Trey, when we're talking about right away, you could see that Trey was still working through a lot of these things. This is a good throw. Good throw out and away. Probably could have got it there a little sooner, but again, nitpicking. Still a good throw. Got it to Juice. We'll take that one. We'll take that one. All right, this is a good throw too. So look at the difference in this throw compared to the other ones that we've watched. This is decisive. This is he knows. He's confident. He knows where he wants to go with the football. And this is I think the start of that 2-minute drill, right? Yeah, 38 seconds left. The 49ers are down 7-0 in a must-win game. The offense has been completely stagnant, coming off a turnover that led to points. How are you gonna bounce back? What do you like? What is the response going to be? And Trey answered well. And I think this is where the sense of urgency allowed Trey to just wheel and deal. You know what I mean? Like, look at the throw. Like, the urgency was there. You still see that kinda drop into the so you wanna be coming off that plant foot and throwing, not going to your plant foot, dropping, then throwing. Again, we talk about Trey's mechanics and, a lot of people talk about that and what does that mean? Right here. See, that is the plant foot right here. That step needs to be the plant hitch, but it's like this is then turns into like a false step almost because he's pushing that back foot back, then drops. See the drops. Still a good throw. I mean, look at the throw. The throw is freaking phenomenal. But this is where I think Trey continues his improvement from 2021 season heading into 2023. I like the pocket awareness here. He felt he felt it, was able to duck it, right? You can see the arm come around, he's able to duck it. Did a good job of, getting out, but just got to work on the accuracy a little bit, right? This was a good throw on the money. Again, watch the back plant foot. See how it's like a double motion. Still a good throw, but those are the things that he's made more efficient, and I think he's really worked on this offseason. This throw would have been this throw if Brandon Ayuk didn't get pass interference on this one, this throw would have been I mean, this was a perfect throw, like, I think. I don't think you could put this ball in any more of a perfect spot. You like, literally, considering this is 50-50, and you gotta get this ball up and away, you can see this is blatant pass interference. Look at the white around Ayuk's arm because he's holding the left. Ayuk has to try to go up with one hand. This is a perfect ball. Perfect ball with really tight coverage. And I like again, he's looking left. Watch it's so small, but just him starting left, just look at the middle linebacker's reaction to it. Because Lance is looking left, look at the 58 completely change his hips and where he's looking just because Trey's looking. That's why pre-snap processing is so important and manipulating defenses with your eyes because it changes what defenses do. Now, it didn't have a direct effect on this play, but again, we talk about that Kittle interception. just a couple plays ago. How if he was able to probably keep his eyes to the right longer instead of just staring down the barrel that entire time, that changes the defense's reaction. But this is a great throw, man. It really is. Pass interference. I don't think they called it either. They didn't call it. It's a terrible call. You literally have the ref right there. Look at the DB's arm, man. Like, I get it. They're both kind of hand fighting, but come on. He's literally stopping him from being able to go up and get two hands on it. That's defensive pass interference, man. This one was almost interception. Again, the ball just isn't coming out of his hand that great, and we know why now. The finger, the mechanics, all of it has plays an issue with this. I don't mind the throw. Is also a good play by the DB to really just get up that high and get hands on it. Thankfully, he's a defensive back for a reason because he can't catch, but is able to Ayuk's able to make a really good catch on that one. And they were able to, I think, kick a field goal, get points 7-3. So I think, just from watching, so we're watching Trey's second game. I think earlier last week we watched Brock's first game, and you can see pretty clearly the differences in how they manage the game, how the game flows through them. Brock is so comfortable, so just and remember, Brock wasn't perfect either. We had overthrows, we had some skittish plays where he kind of bailed. We had an interception from Brock. Like Brock wasn't perfect in his first game, just like Trey hasn't been perfect in his second game. But I think what you can see is the difference in processing. You can see the difference in kind of the high level management of the quarterback position. And I think that's I th- why Kyle and was able to find so much success with Brock right away is because of that high level pre and post snap processing where Trey is still figuring it out. This is a great throw. This is a hard throw. So this, just like we were talking about with Trey, see, Trey is able to look at again what the pre-snap processing does to the linebacker or post snap, I should say. Post snap, see how he gets his eyes to right now, his eyes are to the left. Kirksey 58 is dropping directly into the hole in the throwing lane where Trey wants to go with this. Because Trey looks opposite side, watch the reaction to Kirksey. He bails because he's reacting to Trey's eyes. And then Trey comes right behind him. This is the high level processing that we want to see. This is what has helped Brock be successful early, and this is an example of Trey doing it the correct way and how the defense reacts to it. He creates his own throwing lane here. If if Trey is staring down the barrel from the jump, this is probably an interception. But because he's able to manipulate the defense with his eyes, he's able to generate the throwing lane that he needs, and it's a great throw. Dart on the money, in between the numbers, in stride, and then BA does BA things. Great job by BA, great job. Look at Jennings here at the end. What a savage, man. Jennings just cooking dudes 40 yards downfield. 37 thinks the play is over, and Jennings is like, "Nah, man, the whistle hasn't blown yet. Get your ass on the ground." Kittle blocking all the way downfield, and BA just being a dog. Again, I think right here, Trey just picks the wrong window to throw in. I think if he waits one more window over to develop, he completely misses that linebacker. You know what I mean? If he kind of puts a little bit more air on this, kind of gets this more about right where, because it looks like the ball is headed for, I'm going to stop Sherfield where I think the ball would have landed. I think the ball would have hit here where Sherfield is based on that angle. I think if you tried to hit Sherfield there, right about here, so just a window over, you clear the linebacker. Sherfield creates a little bit more separation. You don't have to put air on the ball to allow the DB to regain that separation. You just shift the window over, and we're maybe talking about a walk-in touchdown potentially. Great design. They run this all the time. It's a deep clear out. Trey makes the correct read. Just has to see the underneath linebacker. It's two things. You either put more air on it to get it over the linebacker, or you just go the window over. And you could see how upset Sherfield is because he knew he had a touchdown. Hey, Trey got down. Let's go. More QB power. And again, like I understand better, I think, why Kyle's running quarterback power with Trey. I'm in real time, like, and also, not having Brock to reference, and like how Brock, like, again, it's easier to compare and contrast with Brock because it's two guys. I mean, this is rookie Trey Lance, right? His second start. And we just watched rookie Brock Purdy didn't even get a start. He got thrown into the fire. So we're comparing and contrasting two quarterbacks as rookies getting their first real playing time. And I'm starting to see a little bit more of probably why they were running a little bit more. They're trying to run Trey a little bit more to take advantage of that skill set. It's a little bit of a dangerous throw. Didn't really land perfectly. They got the penalty, so gave them a chance to move forward, move the sticks. Try to win it with your run game. 3rd and 4. We've seen Brock Purdy, have a ton of success in this area. I like that throw. Step up into the pocket. I like that ability to maneuver within the pocket. I think that's that is perfect throw across body. That's a great throw. That's a great process right there. Step up, move, whip it, good throw. Jermichael Hasty, 49ers legend. Current Jaguar. Easy money here. Easy money. Play action naked. I don't even know. It's technically a boot. Easy money. Touchdown. Kyle schemed that one up. Trey just had to complete it. That's it. And look at this throw. Remember the one we had to Kyle Juszczyk where it was kind of behind. It kind of wasn't that great of a throw. Trey is able to make the correction. Good stuff. So again, I just really think, with Kyle, I just really think Kyle. I was always like hesitant with Kyle drafting a rookie quarterback because I know Kyle is very specific and demanding in what he's looking for in his offense, which is it's what you want, man. Like I want Kyle to be able to be so specific and so detail oriented and the margin of error is so thin, but when you hit on it, it's super successful. And when you have a rookie, you and especially a rookie like that is retooling his mechanics and just learning on the fly. I just don't feel like I don't think Kyle loves that. And I think that's why, Brock has definitely earned that quarterback one because Brock doesn't play like a rookie. Brock could definitely improve and Brock has room to grow. But again, I think Brock just came in playing kind of like a veteran, which is not normal for rookies to do. I think Trey Lance came in and he's playing like a rookie. He's playing like a guy who needs a couple years to develop. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't think Kyle was necessarily prepared to actually do that, if that makes sense. Like, that's why I think Josh Allen and the Bills was the perfect marriage because Josh Allen was not a perfect prospect. He had a lot of flaws coming out of Wyoming. He had a lot of big time traits, but he made poor decisions with the football. There was just some issues there, but he went to a team and an environment that was going to rock with him as their guy and develop him over years. And that's why Josh Allen was just a guy until year 3. And then year 3, Josh Allen explodes. Jalen Hurts was just a guy year 2, right? Jalen Hurts was just a guy until then year 3 comes around and he goes crazy. It's a part of the developmental process, and I just feel Kyle is he's trying to win, right? He's trying to win, and why wouldn't you be trying to win? You got a stacked roster. You know what you have, and you need someone who's going to be able to put you in the right spot and all of those types of things. And like you can tell that Trey has a ton of potential. Like this is a good throw. It's great ball placement. I mean, perfect ball placement away from the defender. Allows Debo to run under it. Debo can get on this in stride, make a guy miss. This is phenomenal. This is great. This is beautiful. This is exactly what you want to see. Trey's done this so well, and you see that's a great throw. He pushes that thing downfield, and he takes advantage of the spacing. This is what you like. Look, Debo has to come back a little, but that's what I want. I want to be able to give you an opportunity to run under the football when you have that much type of spacing. So this is great. And this is why it's so hard to give up on Trey. Like, and I don't think you can give up on Trey because you have to understand that Trey is developing and he's not going to be perfect right away. And I think we kind of saw that, but I don't think Trey was given the opportunity to be imperfect, if that makes sense. Like, again, I've talked about it so much with Trey, like an environment of belief, giving him those opportunities to not be perfect, to be able to learn how to be perfect through making mistakes. I don't think Trey really got that opportunity. I don't think Trey got the opportunity to have that type of belief that, hey, I can go out in this game and not be perfect but I know my team's got my back. I know my coach is, I might not be doing it like exactly like he wanted, but I know he's going to be patient with me and I know he's going to ride it out with me. I don't think Trey has had that in his NFL career. And I think that's what Trey needed. And I think that's why his development has been slower than we probably anticipated. The injuries have really hurt his progress. And but the beautiful thing of the matter is Trey's 23 years old, man. He's still super young. He's still super young. He's still the arrow. Like, you can't give up on this. You can't give up on a 23-year-old man. Like, you can't give up on this. You can't give up on that. I can understand why you're going with Brock Purdy as quarterback 1. I understand that. That makes sense to me because I think right now Brock Purdy is the better quarterback, but you also can't give up on this. You can't give up on this type of talent and you just have to develop this type of talent. You got to be patient with this type of talent. You got to go through the ups and downs with this type of talent. And Kyle should have known that when he drafted Trey Lance after 1 year out of North Dakota State. And you could see some of the issues that Trey had at NDSU. So when you're drafting Trey, number 3 overall out of NDSU, you have to be going into this with the mindset that there's going to be a developmental process that comes along with it. And you have to be patient and you have to continue to believe. And I don't think that has happened. And I think that has also developed into Trey kind of maybe slipping in his confidence, the injuries, Jimmy G, now Brock. Like, Trey's and I don't want to say like I want to believe that Trey will have success with the 49ers, but if Brock comes back and Brock is looking better, his arm doesn't take a hit and he's processing even better, I don't know if Trey will be able to get that job back unless an injury happens or something like that. I want Trey to find success with the 49ers. But if they feel so confident in Brock Purdy, I feel like there is a potential we're getting to that point where we're gonna see Trey Lance go to another team, and we are going to see Trey Lance turn into the quarterback that we thought and believe he can be, but with another team. And that's just where this whole dynamic and situation is really kind of difficult. You know what I mean? Like, because we know he's got the potential, but does he have what Kyle wants? And is Kyle patient enough to allow that to happen? I don't know. Look at Ayuk, man. He got away with a little bit of hold, but I like it. I like it, man. I like it. So we'll see. We'll see what ultimately happens, because I think the other thing that we got to think about is Trey is 1 year away from his fourth year. And then the 49ers are going to be having to make the decision if they're going to pick up his fifth year option. So that's where I think Trey is running out of time a little bit, and the 49ers are running out of time a little bit, is that decision is going to be coming up. That decision is going to be is going to be coming up, and if he can't get on the field, then I don't see how, the 49ers pick up his fifth-year option, because if he can't get on the field, how can you justify that? So, I think this is a big year for Trey Lance. I think this is a career-defining year for Trey Lance. I really do, because there's so much at stake. There's so much on the line. I think the time is running out, and is that fair to Trey? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, the NFL isn't fair. The NFL is a product of winning and producing, and they really don't care. They really don't. At a certain level, of course, they care about the person. They care about the guy and those types of things. But when it comes to on the field, it's cutthroat, right? It is cutthroat. And this is I remember breaking down this play last year and getting so angry at this play and the quarterback power. The 49ers are, let's see, it's 3rd and 3, 2 minutes up. It's 20-7. It's the 4th quarter. I got so angry at this play call. I remember it. Watching it re-triggers me, because look at how close Trey Lance is to getting seriously hurt. If you're running quarterback counter, basically, right? You're gonna have Lake and pull, Juice is gonna kick out. There's no reason for your quarterback to run the football here. If Trey Lance's head, if that linebacker's shoulder pad hits Trey underneath the chin right here, if he's lower and he's gets his helmet or his shoulder pad about right here on Trey, look at the forward momentum and what would have happened to Trey. Like, he narrowly escaped being seriously hurt right here. You see that? If you can still see his head go back, but just imagine if that shoulder pad got right here. Trey could have broken his neck on that play. And I remember this play and just being so triggered by it because of the situation. The game is won, right? The game is won. There's 2 minutes left. It's 3rd and 3. Yeah, you need to get the first down to ice it, but you got Elijah Mitchell, man. Run Elijah. And this was my I think I, like, went on some, like, long-winded tangent of, like, this is the cautionary tale. I think I did a Twitter thread on this. I was like, "This is the cautionary tale of why the 49ers can't run Trey like this." I remember it in real time. This is the cautionary tale of why you can't do this with Trey. And guess what happened last year, week 2? Guess what happened week year? Like I get it, man. You want to run your quarterback, he's got legs. You want to run quarterback power, but man, you know what you're doing, right? You know what the risks are. And I just remember this. I remember as clear as day and how triggered I was by this and how like upsetting this play call was during and the timing of it. And thankfully Trey was fine, but that was the last play of the game. That was it. The game's over. I don't even think he got the first down, you know? Like and I remember I went on some like super long tangent. Like, this is why you don't, if you keep doing this with Trey, you're going to hurt Trey. You're going to get him, you're going to put him in a bad spot. This is going to lead to Trey getting hurt, seriously hurt. What happened? So, again, it's a double edged sword. I understand why they're running Trey because I still think Trey was raw in regards to like doing everything. I don't think he was at the level that Purdy was. So I understand why they were choosing to run him, but at the same time, there's a cautionary tale that comes along with it, and unfortunately, it came to fruition week 2. Came to fruition week 2. He didn't even get out of the first half in week 2. So I don't think Trey's a runner. I think he's more of a scrambler. Like, I think he's a guy you drop back in the pocket, and if it's not there, he can shake out and pick up some yards with his legs. Like, I think he's a guy you could run zone read with, and you can do the whole mesh point thing 3, 4, 5 times a game to keep defenses honest and play 11 on 11 football. But I think you still got to treat Trey like a quarterback, man. Like, so listen, I do think there were some good plays here in this game against the Texans, but I still felt like even in that kind of bad game against the Bears, you could see some of the progressions that Trey had made um, from year 1 to year 2. And I do think that Trey is just he's he's not a finished product yet. So that's why development is always hard because I think a lot of people talk about Trey right now as if he should be a finished product because he was the number 3 overall pick and a lot of capital went into going and get him. So when you're drafting a guy at number 3, you know, you're expecting a blue chip type guy, but I think what's hard for some fans to rationalize is Trey is just as big of a project as any other guy. Um, I think Trey I still haven't seen Trey perform as well as he did in training camp. In training camp, year 1, I think Trey was lighting it up, dude. Trey was going crazy. He really was. Those weren't false reports. Trey was going ham. but he didn't get the job. And I think that really kind of hurt his confidence a little bit because remember, Kyle really was going to run a two quarterback system. He really was. I thought it was crazy that he was going to do that. I was like, I was open, and again, who am I to tell Kyle who I hold as one of the greatest football minds that this game has to offer? Who am I, right? Like I recognize that, but it was my personal preference. Like I thought a two quarterback system thing was just not a good idea. And he did it the first drive against Detroit. And Jimmy Garoppolo leads the team all the way down the field. And Trey comes out and throws the first touchdown of the year. And I think that really, what we have come to know and how it's been reported is that that did not sit well with Jimmy's teammates. It wasn't it wasn't just, it wasn't just like, "Oh yeah, we're a team, we scored a touchdown, who cares?" No, the team, the locker room in which we talk so much about and how good it is and how the culture of that locker room really really is top tier. When that locker room is upset that Trey Lance scored the first touchdown of the year, how do you think Trey felt as a 21-year-old drafted number 3 overall? And this locker room of star-studded Pro Bowlers is pissed off that you just scored the first touchdown of the year. Not because anything you did, because your coach put you in that situation. That's hard. That's tough. I think that is where a lot of the confidence issues stem from. I don't think it's the locker room's fault. I don't think it's Trey's fault because Trey didn't draft himself. Trey's not, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think you get what I'm talking about right now. I think you get what I'm talking about. Um, but nonetheless, Trey still has potential. He still can get it done. He still has tons of room to improve. But I still think right now that this is Brock's job. I still think it is, regardless of where Trey was drafted and the circumstances and the imperfect nature of what situation he's been in. Again, at the end of the day, I do think that has hurt Trey's development, but unfortunately for Trey, the NFL doesn't care if you don't develop under whatever circumstances. They need someone who's going to step on that field and do what you need to do to win. So I do think that this is a big year for Trey. I think it's a big year for Trey. I think it's a big year for Trey and the 49ers together. Um, again, it's against Trey again. It's Sam. Everyone's saying Sam Darnold is gonna beat Trey. Like the cards. I'm not sure. I've seen a deck stacked so much against a player that you sold the farm to get. I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on the San Francisco 49ers Kyle Shanahan era. I think oh my gosh, it's going to be phenomenal. Kyle Shanahan needs a 30 for 30. When it's all said and done, I need to know the ins and the outs. I need to know the backstories. I need to know the drama. I need to know everything because there's there's crazy, man. It's crazy. I did notice that Brock Purdy doesn't look confident in that podium in that presser. He looks worried. I don't want to say he looked worried. I wouldn't say he looked worried. I think what it was is that he was being asked direct questions and he was trying really hard not to say something that he wasn't supposed to say. I think that's what it was. I think Brock seems like a pretty genuine dude. Um and I can guarantee you Brock probably went through some pretty difficult mental times with the whole Tommy John, or not Tommy John, but torn UCL and losing the NFC Championship game. Like that's another aspect of this is that Brock is going through it, you know? Like we got three quarterbacks that are going through it. But I do think ultimately, because all three of them are going through it, they will ultimately be able to lean on each other and they'll be able to kind of figure it out and get it done. Um, I still think I still think the 49ers have a pretty solid situation here with how everything is kind of aligning, but it's make or break for Sam, it's make or break for Trey. Purdy has a little bit longer of a leash right now. Um and I think we're just going to we got to wait and see, and that's why training camp is is going to be um very entertaining. It's going to be fascinating to see how the quarterback situation plays out because I do believe it's Brock quarterback 1. I do think Trey is quarterback 2, but Trey has to hold on to quarterback 2. And we know Kyle likes him some Sam. Okay, what is this? Ranking the top 30 players over 30 entering the NFL season. Okay. Well, he should come in at number 1 because seriously. So PFF said that Trent Williams is the number 1 player in the NFL over the age of 30, and he beats out Aaron Donald. He beats out Aaron Donald, Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, Cameron Hayward, Cooper Kupp, Joel Bettino, Von Miller, Aaron Rodgers, Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Bobby Wagner. Yeah, I do not disagree with that at all. At all. All right. Rare Trent Love. Man, I am disappointed in the NFL. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm pretty disappointed in the NFL. I'm pretty disappointed that the NFL really just doesn't have an understanding of like how to uplift the offensive line more. Like we're literally in an era where we are watching one of the greatest players to ever play one of the most important positions in football, and No one talks about him. Like, it's so frustrating for me as being an O-line advocate. It's like, how? Like, out of any time period, this is the time to talk about Trent Williams. Like, this is the time. And I feel like they're just gonna like, remember when they did the top 100 and Trent was number 14 and Trent was visibly upset by it, and the guy was like the interviewer was like, um, "Man, you're the highest ranked offensive lineman to ever be on the top 100." And he was like, he wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it. I was pissed. I was like, 14? Like, literally 2021 Trent Williams, I don't know if that year will ever be duplicated. I don't know if it will. The level of play, like, Trent definitely didn't like, he definitely took a step back last year. He was still dominant. He was still Trent Williams, but he wasn't Trent Williams in 2021. Trent Williams in 2021 was different. He was insane. And to put him at number 14 was criminal. Absolutely criminal. And he took offense to that. And I remember that clip. The guy was like, "Dude, like, you're the highest ranked offensive lineman ever at 14." He's like, "Yeah, I'll be higher next year." Like, he wasn't vibing with it. I wasn't vibing with it either. Like, there's no respect for the O line, man. There's no respect. Like, you literally have the best tackle probably to ever play the position, and you're not even treating him like that. Come on. Come on. I shouldn't be the only one hyping Trent Williams, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man. So we still got OTAs going on. So today would be day 3 of OTAs. Uh, but we're not going to hear anything. We're not going to hear anything about OTAs. So I find that it is interesting that the 49ers have 9 days of OTAs and the the media is only allowed to one of those days, and I'm not sure what so, that leaves it up to the 49ers to share content. They didn't share anything about OTAs day 1, and I understand why. Our fan base is, likes to complain about things. Like, I really do think that the 49ers, would post more content if our fan base didn't complain about everything. But our fan base complains about everything and they argue and bicker about everything. And I really think that I really do think from a marketing perspective, I think from a social media marketing perspective, it it's not worth putting out content at a high rate because all people are going to do is argue about it, and all they're going to do is use something to slander someone for. Uh, so I don't think that it benefits the 49ers to produce a lot of content, and I don't think fans understand that, because they're just so in their own worlds of being just negative all the time, that you don't get content. It's you know what I mean? It's like it's one of those situations like, well, why would we put out a bunch of content? Like, you guys are just going to argue and fight about it. You know what I mean? It's just like, why would we do that? So I get it, but it's going to be interesting to see what kind of coverage that we get from here on out. From OTAs, I think really yesterday was going to be the main day. Like, we got a video today from the 49ers main account. And it's going to be tight clips. I go back to the 2019 offseason. 49ers were dropping content, singular plays. They were dropping they're not doing that anymore. And I think I understand why. They're just not doing it anymore because fans treat it as a negative. And if you're have a marketing background, especially social media marketing background, and basically what you're putting out is feeding trolls, at a certain point, you're not going to feed those trolls anymore. So, I mean, we'll see. I think training camp content is where it's really going to pick up, but I'm not sure what we're going to get for OTAs because it's OTAs. We're trying to we want to get our OTAs is like getting a first look at these guys. It's not really we can find windows for evaluation. It's more first impressions. We're not really going to be able to pull a ton from OTAs. It's more just getting an eval and like baseline and see how that translates into training camp. But we'll see. What's good, Domber? Shout out to every one of you guys for tapping in. I said organically there. Shout out to gang. Shout out to everyone. As always, we could keep doing film breakdowns if you guys want. We could keep doing Brock. I don't know if anyone wants to do Sam. I know we did the one Sam. I don't know if anyone wants to keep doing Sam, but you let me know what type of content that you want to see on the channel. Again, I'm kind of at this point where like we kind of when there's no football, we're like reacting to what other people say about our team. I'm kind of tired of that right now, but hey, that's where we're at. So yesterday was fun because we got some actual football content to talk about, and we'll see what keeps coming away from it. But make sure you stay tapped in. Appreciate you guys as always tuning into the lives, especially during the off season. Your guys's engagement and commentary, watching the streams, liking the videos that I post, and watching those videos really help me. So I really do appreciate all you guys. Oh yeah, I think it might be time that we dip off of maybe quarterback. Maybe we take a break from quarterback and maybe we do some defense. Maybe we do something else. We'll see. But shout out to gang, shout out to SDS. Grab your cookies on the way out. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to